Every day, twice a day, I post a photo to 5 or 6 different services with hashtags. I mentioned to a friend that the process only takes about 10 minutes and they asked how that was possible. So I wanted to share that with you here. It's a combination of several factors. First, preparation. All of the images in my unpublished pool already have titles on them. Number 2, the magic of the iOS share sheet, which I'll show you in a moment. Number 3, knowing a bit about hashtags work on various services and being able to leverage that to my advantage. Number 4, figuring out the right order of operations to keep what I need on the clipboard for the next one. And 5, muscle memory. You get faster as you do it. So, preparation. First, it can get really hard to remember what you've posted and what you haven't. To solve that, I keep an unpublished folder in Lightroom. You can see that over here on the left. And when I'm finished editing my images, I drag them, first I mark a few of them as favorites because those will get posted first. And I drag them straight into the unpublished album. When I have finished posting them to the services, I remove it from the unpublished album, so I'll never be tempted to post it again. So all of that confusion just goes away. My editing process also involves adding titles to every image so that they're ready to go when it's time to take a 10-minute break. I usually post one image before work and another one after lunch. For this demo, we'll be working exclusively in Lightroom Mobile, but I don't do my editing here. That's all in Lightroom Desktop. I prefer Lightroom over Lightroom Classic, mostly because it's 100% cloud-based. I really need all of my images available on all of my devices in perfect sync, always. This process would work identically from Apple Photos or any other iOS imaging app that includes the iOS share icon. I don't know how this works on Android, but I assume they have something similar. To do this, you'll need to have the app installed for each of the services you want to post to. You can modify this to work with almost any image sharing site or app out there. So for this demo, I'm going to say I want to share this image right here. And I'm going to post to Instagram first. I hate Instagram for a dozen reasons, and I'd ditch it if I could. But it's the service where your old friends and distant relatives are. They're never going to move back to Flickr or show up on the better imaging services, so you're stuck with Instagram. Also, Instagram has the best tag discovery mechanism. Notice that I'm not going to export my image first. By using the share sheet in iOS, I'm letting each service pick the dimensions that it considers ideal for their own platform. With this process, you don't even have to think about exporting or picking a bunch of export sizes for different services. So the share sheet, if you look at the top right of the screen, is the square with the up arrow in it. And if you click on it, here I see share to. So what service do I want to share to? So the things I use the most often show up right here in the horizontal scroll. But if you click on more, all apps on iOS to which you can share are listed. So there's nothing I can't share to. So I'm going to start by sharing to Instagram. Post, story, or message. I don't understand stories. They don't make any sense to me. I'm going to make a standard post because it's an image sharing service. Oops, I forgot something. So I mentioned that as I'm editing, I always add titles so they're ready to go. So I'm going to grab the title that I put into Lightroom, triple click to select all, copy, share to Instagram, post, paste, and go ahead and share it immediately. And then I jump over to Instagram, refresh, my new image is there, click the 3 dots at the top right, select edit. I'm going to put a location. It was in Kauai. And then my pattern is to do 3 dots and then I start my hashtags. You can do it however you want. And then I just start thinking of hashtags. I'll call this chlorophyll. And it auto-completes, which was what makes it so fast. Leaves Kawaii adventures, hiking adventures. I always put my camera groups in here, Fuji Feed and Fuji Love and Verdant. We'll go with that for now. You can use as many as you like. So with all of those set, I want to use the same set of hashtags on all of the services I post to, or most of them. So I'm going to triple click this, drag the selector down to the bottom. I've got it all copied or all selected. I copy it, click done. And Instagram is done. Now I go back to Lightroom, share, and I'm going to next go to Glass. This is one of my two favorite services. Glass has a really great style and attracts a lot of people who really love photography and want to engage with other photographers, not just people who click like 1,000 times and leave. Glass intentionally doesn't support hashtags, which are often gamed and gamified and used for attention mongering, and Glass just wants to break free of all of that and be a non-toxic service for image lovers who like to talk about photography. So I'm going to just remove those hashtags. So I triple click, delete, get rid of the three dots, and they provide a pre-canned set of categories. I'm going to pick one. I'll just call it nature. And we're done sharing to Glass. And then I'm going to share to, the next one I'm going to do is Vero. Vero I have very mixed feelings about. It is supposed to be a great alternative to Instagram, but I find the culture there very similar to Instagram. It's got a very weird, confusing UI with windows flashing all over the place, and it can be very difficult to navigate back to home. It doesn't have any of the advanced features of Flickr. I'm really not quite sure what the appeal is, but I'm doing it for now anyway until I decide whether to keep it or not. So I'm going to put all of my Instagram hashtags in there, leave that as is. They also use AI to auto-detect the image, and they're going to suggest some other tags. So I'm going to say, oh yeah, foliage is good, and leaf and tropics. So I'll add those Vero native hashtags. Next, they make you do this weird thing where you have to say, who do you want to post to? Always public. I don't know why you would do anything else. And give that a second. It's uploading, and it is done. And usually while I'm here, I'll go through other Vero stuff, but whatever. And then next, we're going to go post to Flickr. So Flickr is the original image sharing service, the king of all image sharing services. It has by far the most features of any image sharing service, like way more than any others. They do not recompress your images. They do not mess with your aspect ratios. There's a lot of photography lovers here. For some reason, it's out of favor. I don't understand why. It really kicks the butt of all the rest. I'm going to paste now. Notice what I'm doing here. So Flickr does not support string-based hashtags. They support object-based hashtags. And if you look down in the middle of the screen, there's a separate field where the tags go. I don't want to have to create object hashtags there. So I'm going to paste the whole thing into the description field. And then I'm going to take the title, I'm going to cut it to the clipboard. Now here's the cool part. When I blur out of this field, when I click somewhere else, I'm going to click in the title field. Did you see what happened in the tags field in the middle of the screen? It auto-populated object tags from the string hashtags in the description. So this is now redundant. I can take that out. Oops, forgot to paste. And then I can pick an album. So I've got a couple of Kawaii albums. I'm going to put it in the general Kawaii album and the Kawaii 2022 album. So it's in two albums. I'm going to share it to Flickr, jump over to Flickr, and refresh the page. There's my image. What I just did was I clicked on the I button at the bottom right for information. So this is where you can start enhancing and modifying the image. So there's all the tags that I added. and it's in the right albums. And now I want to start putting it in groups. So this is optional, but this can really extend the reach of your image and help you get new audience. I'm going to select a few groups here, but you could pick as many or as few as you want to. Art without end, awesome nature. Let's just leave it at that for now. I click submit, and it goes into those groups, or the ones that some of them need pre-approval, so it went into a couple for starters. So Flickr's done, and then there's good old, I'm going to go back to Lightroom, share to. Why not put it? I'm going to pretend I don't really want to post this on Facebook. I would. So right now I have just the title now left on the clipboard, and that's actually all I want on Facebook. I'm only posting to my friends. They don't need to be burdened with all of those hashtags. I'm going to hit cancel now, but often I would actually hit next and post. And the other one that I do frequently is I share to Mastodon, since Twitter is effectively dead, or dead to me anyway. I hope it's dead to you. So I post to Mastodon through an app called Ivory, but there are many, many, many apps for Mastodon. Pick your own and paste here. I don't want to overwhelm this service with hashtags, so I'm just going to put a few, like photography and kawaii. Let's just say we'll give it a couple of friendly ones. Oops, Kuai. And that is done. So there, I've just posted 5 or 6 images in about 10 minutes from the share sheet without exporting first, without thinking about image sizes, with hashtags reused as much as possible. And then the very last thing I'm going to do, because this has now been posted, I don't want to ever be tempted to post it again. So I click on the 3 dots in the top of Lightroom, organize, remove from album, and that's removed because it's done. And my unpublished pool just shrank by 1. And just to remind, I've been doing this from the Lightroom mobile app, but the share sheet that we're working with is available from virtually everywhere in iOS. You can share almost anything from anywhere to anywhere if you have the right apps installed. And that's it. It's that easy. So hope you found this helpful.